Hi, I am Paul Duncan with Trinity Roofing and Construction. Here I am in an attic. Now, I put a heat gun up here and it was 140 degrees where I'm sitting right now. I'm sitting on the floor of the attic, as you can see. Why am I up here? Well, I wanted to talk to you about attic ventilation. Attic ventilation is pretty important. And as I sat up here in 140 degree temperatures on this attic, I want you to understand that it is crazy up here and it's quite important to keep your attic as cool as possible. It is 4:32 in the afternoon, which is about the hottest time of the day. The forecast is 107 for today. And I think the actual temperature out there right now is 103. 103 outside and 140 degrees in the attic. That is a big difference, okay? The 103 degree air obviously is cooler than 140 degree air. The purpose of attic ventilation is to exchange air. Really, ventilate means to exchange air. All right, and attic ventilation is just a process of exchanging large amounts of air or moving large amounts of air in and out of your attic. So it's out with a hot, in with a cool. And so at the very top is where all of your exhaust needs to be. It needs to be at the highest point of the attic. Now, the intake needs to be at the lowest part of the attic, which if you look over here, that is where your soffit vents need to be. So your soffit vents are at the lowest part of the attic and your exhaust is at the highest part of the attic, and that equates to good placement for your ventilation components. When I put this on as a heat gun, says it's 137 degrees in the attic. Well, we're pushing 140. Look at that. So that's how hot it is in an attic. Now, I also have a FLIR infrared camera that I want you guys to see. And you can see the difference where the cold and the heat is. Look how hot. It's at the top of the attic, and as you go down, it's a lot cooler. That's the way you want it. That's exactly what you want to see. That means that the ventilation that I've got is pulling all that hot air out, and the cool air is being replaced in the soffit vents. So you can see that's in those soffit vents, it's much cooler. So I'm hoping y'all can see that. Now I want to take a look at what it looks like on the outside, so I'll show you that in just a second. I'm looking at the west side of the house, and this is a stone veneer, and I want to show you just how hot it is. I've got my trusty little heat gun here, all right? And so as we go to the west side of the house, you can see the stone on the side of the house is 125 degrees. That's pretty stinking hot. As we were talking about in the attic, where you want your intake to be at the lowest part of the attic and your exhaust to be at the highest part of the attic, then what I want you to see is what that looks like. As you can see, this is continuous soffit vents. So the whole, just almost all around is vented. That allows for the 103 degree air to come into the attic and for it to be exhausted out at the highest point. As you can see, an important part of attic ventilation is for it to be balanced. So this is on the west side of the building, of the house. This is on the west side of the house. You can see the continuous soffit vent. All right. So this is a perfect picture of what ventilation, or really a great description of where the ventilation is, because you can see both parts of it. You've got intake here at the bottom, here at the soffits, right under the eave is where the soffit vents are. And then you've got the turbines, which is the exhaust. You can see both of them working together. So we're bringing in 103-degree temperature air through the soffit vents and exhausting 140-degree air through the turbines.